What's going on, guys? So this video is a formation flight in the Stearman that I did for November 11th, which was Veterans Day. Because you can see at the start of this video, we've already started up. We've already done the engine run up, so we're getting ready to taxi out onto the runway here. We're doing a section. It's called a section takeoff, which is a formation takeoff. We're doing this whole flight in formation. We before the flight, we briefed the whole flight, every movement that we were gonna do, and that way, while we're in the air, there's no confusion on the formation and where we're supposed to be when and where. So we're getting ready to line up on the runway here. Um, I haven't done much formation in the Stearman, and I haven't done any formation until this flight with the other gentleman and the other Stearman. So I kept my distance a little bit in this flight. I didn't get sucked in real tight in the formation throughout the video. I'm in the flight. I'm around 50 feet or so from the airplane. So we're getting lined up here on the runway. Everything is done in the flight. Everything is done in either hand signals or wing wags. So right now I'm waiting for him to give the head nod, which is the signal to start the ground roll. Normally when you get that, you start the takeoff ground roll at the same time, but since I haven't done really any formation flight with him, I gave him a couple seconds. As you can see, he started going. Now I'm adding the power up to start the takeoff roll. So here we go. After we take off, I'm going to join up on the other Stearman's left-hand side and sit there for a little bit, and then I join up on his right side. We're taking off out of the Hollister Airport, and the parade we're doing the flyover for is in downtown Hollister, which is not very far. So we took off a little bit ahead of time before we were supposed to do the flyover. So we have to do we did a couple of just circling turns until we were ready to do the flyover. So since I took off second here, I'm just trying to catch up to the other Stearman. As you can see now, it skipped ahead. I'm coming in on his left-hand side to get a little bit closer in here, trying to line myself basically up on a 45-degree angle to the other Stearman. Throughout the video, you'll see me adjusting the camera a couple times. That's just because with it being an open cockpit airplane with my head sticking out, the camera tends to get moved around by the wind a little bit, so I end up having to adjust it. So there we go. I'm making the move to go around off his right wing in that right echelon. I got pulled away a little bit when I turned over because I was a little bit late on bringing the power in. You got to bring a little bit of power in when you're making that adjustment going from under the airplane to the right hand side. Looks like now this is the first pass here. We both have smoke. You can't see my smoke on. We do have a for turning the smoke on, it's the only time we're really talking on the radio at all. Everything else is hand signal. So there's a guard over the switch to turn the smoke on. So my signal to flip the guard up is from the other lead pilot is he'll say smoke ready. I flip the guard up, and then he'll say smoke, smoke on, and we flip it on at the same time. You're going to see he turned it off. There's another signal to turn the smoke off, and that is smoke, smoke off, and we turn it off at the same time. So that was the completion of our first pass there. Now we're going to do a left-hand circling turn around, and we switch up the formation to in trail. So I just suck in behind him. I'll make the move right about here is when I'll start to get in behind him. And I have to stay a little bit below him because when we turn the smoke on, if I was right to in trail right at his same altitude, Obviously the smoke would get in my face, so I stay a little bit low. I could have gotten a little bit closer, but again, I haven't done much formation with this guy, so I wanted to keep my distance a little bit. And so here's the start of the second formation. You'll see me look down to flip the guard up for the smoke. There we go, make the flip. It'll say smoke, smoke, on. And you can see we're both have the smoke on there at the same time. And we're just flying right over the top of downtown Hollister for this parade. And you can see where the smoke actually comes out of the right side front exhaust there. Any second I'll give the signal for smoke off, and we'll both flip the smoke off at the same time. There you go. Smoke is off. That was the completion of the passes. So, but we're not done yet. We're gonna do one more pass. I rejoined up on his right side, and we're coming inbound overhead of runway 24 at Hollister. We do one more. We do an overhead break with the smoke on. So once again, you'll see the smoke come on. And for the overhead break, since we are coming into land, when we do break, you leave a couple of seconds in there before I brake to give enough spacing for when we come into land. So there's the smoke. And we're just about overhead. So there's the brake right now, waiting about 4 or 5 seconds. I do the brake. And there's one more signal for smoke, smoke off. Leaving this little gap in here for the brake allows the first Stearman to land and gives enough spacing for me to land in behind him so we're not too close. The Stearman, the way it's designed, it doesn't have very good visibility. I'm sitting in the back seat. The owner of the airplane is in the front seat there. And so when you're in pilot command sitting in the back seat, you really don't have that great of visibility. You'll see when we're on the ground taxiing, it's even worse. For the landing phase, the camera got knocked up a little bit. I needed to move it down. I didn't realize it. So the camera angle on the landing here is a little bit off, but I fix it after we touch down. So what you can see from the camera angle is a little bit more than what I can see because the camera is a little bit up higher than my eye line. So you have actually, the camera shows a little bit better visibility than I do. Once you're straight ahead on the runway on final, you basically have no forward visibility and you're using your peripheral vision from there to guide yourself down to the runway. So I'm getting pretty close here. You can see that camera angle got messed up a little bit. And I do a wheel landing here, so I land on the, since it's easier, a little bit easier in the Stearman, there's the touchdown, a little bit easier in the Stearman to do a wheel landing versus a 3-point. You have a little bit better visibility throughout the touchdown. Now this is the hard part right here. I'm trying to keep the airplane on the center line rolling down the runway and also try to keep get the other Stearman in sight, but on the, you don't really want to make, there's the adjustment on the camera there. When you're on the rollout going still a decent speed, you don't want to start doing the S turns until you're at a slower, more controllable speed because you don't want to ground loop the airplane. So I'm getting down to a speed here where I can kind of almost start to do S turns, not quite. I kind of just have to lean out the side of the airplane to get the other Stearman in sight and keep the airplane going straight down the runway still. So everything in this flight is in formation. We started the engines in formation, we taxied out in formation, took off in formation, came back in formation, and we taxied back at the same time. So you can see this other Stearman there in the left-hand corner. He's waiting for me to get off the runway. And so he taxis in front of me. I'm right behind him. And we go back into the same parking spots and shut down the engine at the same time. So here's a kind of a little view on what it's like, your visibility when you're taxiing the Stearman. As you can see, there's no forward visibility. So you have to do S turns and look out the side so you can see what's in front of you. You don't want to run into the airplane in front of you, and also still pay attention to where you are on the taxiway, because you can with the biplane with the low wings, you can hit runway signs, taxiway edge lights as well. So you want to be vigilant when you're taxiing the airplane, and also paying attention for other airplanes that could be around you, with that big nose on the front of the airplane blocking your view. So we just crossed the runway here. We're getting onto the back onto the taxiway. You can see the other Stearman in front of me there, barely. Throughout the video, you'll see that the propeller looks a little funny. The GoPro doesn't pick up the propeller very well unless you have. There's an attachment you can put on the front of the GoPro, which I don't have, which kind of filters out the propeller so it looks like it should. Right now, it looks funny. It doesn't look normal when you're you're at low RPM and even full power. It looks like the propeller is going really slow, which it's not. So there, we're getting almost to the ramp now, and you'll see once we come to a complete stop and we're next to each other, I'm looking over at the other Stearman to get the signal to shut down. Well, guys, I appreciate you watching this video, and if there's anything else you guys want to see, comment below. Comment on what you'd like to see. I have a lot of videos still to upload, and yeah, like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I'm just about coming into the parking spot here, turning off the radios. That's what you saw me lean over there, and now have my hand on the mixture control, getting ready for the signal to shut down. And there's the shutdown, turning off the mags, turning off the fuel selector. And master switch is coming off, and that's the flight. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.